Everybody, I'm going to call the meeting of the Village Board, the Board of Trustees, here in Cambridge to order. Roll call, please.
Trustee Christensen.
Here.
Cunningham.
Here.
Whitmer.
Here.
Breinig.
Here.
Hollenbeck.
Here.
Kuhnbier.
Here.
McNally.
Here. This meeting, for the benefit of the audience and viewers, we were going to have a meeting last week, and we did not because there were 4 of us that were not available, so we're holding the meeting this week, and we will be back on to every second and fourth Tuesday of the month, but because of some pressing business, we had to schedule the meeting for tonight. Okay, can we rise and give Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lisa, can you tell us about the proof of posting?
The agenda was posted in the upper and lower levels of the Edmondson Community Center, the Cambridge Post Office, Hometown Bank, and the village website.
All right, thank you. Moving on to public appearances, I see we have 3 gentlemen. Who would like to come up here first?
Or anyone.
All right, we'll let Mr. Saloff.
Thank you. So just a couple of things. One is I would encourage you to put into your thoughts and hopefully on your agenda in the near future is to create a subcommittee of this board for senior programming. I think it warrants discussion. I think you might, through Chapter 66, you might want to attract a representative from Oakland, Christiana, and Rockdale, and just have a group that begins to discuss the needs of senior citizens in our community. We have a lot of services, but they're not tied together. And I know that, Mr. President, you met with McFarland, and the chair or the president, the chairperson of Christiana met with them, and they're looking towards contracting for 2020. And so I think the village would be in a better position to discuss these items, you know, with a group that's very concerned and very interested in senior programming. So I just put it out into the ether. You know that I'm willing to help. I'd like to see the services more tied together. There's a lot of resources, but people are duplicating, and there's a lot of pieces around the community. Mm-hmm. And second is we're working on the connector trail. We're a little bit quiet right now, but I hope Mark, you and I and others that are interested can shake some energy into that group. The parks staff from Dane County is very eager to help us and light a fire under us, as the same with the Jefferson County Parks people. And I think we should invite them to our next meeting, which is going to be the end of this month, the end of August, 3rd week in August, and we should light a fire on it so we can get going in raising the $204,000 now that we need to get this project completed. Any questions about any of my hats?
And I will add at your site are the new Dane County directories that Bob delivered for everyone.
Thank you.
You know, if somebody needs one, I do buy them for the community. I don't have enough money to buy them for the whole community, but if somebody's interested and would like a copy, just ask Lisa and I'll get some more to her.
I have your old one.
You got 2?
Your old one.
Oh.
Last. So, if you need your old one.
I don't. Thank you, though.
Bob, can you stay on, because I'm going to have to give a short report on fire and EMS, and you were in that meeting. But specifically now, can you tell us how you did with the cannonball run?
So we raised approximately pretty close to $13,000, which is very much like last year. We did spend some more money on some advertising, which was fun and everything, but I don't think that it produced the results that we were hoping for. We had about 57 runners, which, you know, I think we can get more runners, but we need to get some more marketing and promotion and so forth. That we're going to elevate that benefit. But we did raise some money. It was nice. It was a great event. The people that came loved it. So it was good. it could be better, is what I'm saying.
Okay, no injuries,
No, no.
nothing like that.
No. Yeah, it was warm. It was a warm day. And just an informational on the EMS, the 19th of this month, the 911 center went down. It went down, it was heat related, and then there was a fire in Madison. MG&E had 2 explosions and 2 fires that took down, I think it was 11 blocks from Henry Street all the way to the Yarra River. So it was quite a huge area. The generators overheated. They have 5 backup generators. They overheated. They moved it to batteries. The batteries ran down. They did a hard close down. The CAD was working fine, the computer assisted dispatch system, but they did a hard shutdown, which means they just flipped the switch. And in retrospect, they should have started a slow turn off, so they could have brought it back up slowly. But they had a lot of trouble bringing it back up. But they did go to paper. They did, their old flip charts to be able to help us out. We had 3 very serious calls in this community. We were able to get to them. We managed fine, and we had very good outcomes from those calls. So we were able to operate without all the computers and all the radios and all that stuff. But it was challenging, and as you know, it was 95 degrees that day. So I just came from a DaneCom meeting, and they talked about the technology. They are going to put in some new generators and new battery backups and create some more redundancy. As you may know, there's another 911 center out at the corner at the medical examiner's office on AB next to the recycling facility. So they staffed it immediately. They happened to be over there training, so they got that up right away, and they were able to continue the CAD.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
We'll stay on
I
it.
bet you have some other business to take care of besides.
We do, there might be some other public appearances.
Sorry for saying.
No, it's okay, all right.
Dave Middlestead with the Galleria 214 downtown. I'll keep it very short because I know you got a lot of business on the agenda today, but I want to publicly comment on the great weekend we had, the festival. Just publicly thank the Cambridge Arts Council, Laurie Struss, and all the volunteers and all the staff that made it such a great weekend for the entire village. Personally, we had our best Saturday and best weekend since we've been open for 2 years, and it really comes across great for the community when you look out the door and see all them cars parked up and down Main Street. And what that allows us to do when we have special days like that, it gives us more resources so that we can help contribute to the community. So when we get requests from the school district or the American or the Deerfield Cambridge Theater, we've got money we can donate, and it'll encourage other businesses to come into town when they see this kind of activity. So I do everything I can to help promote it. I ask the village board in whatever tight times you have, but in any way that you can find that doesn't involve money to help events like this that bring the people to town. It was wonderful. One of the things that did bring up, I came about a year ago and talked about what we could do to help the traffic condition of people crossing Main Street. Now that we have another wonderful shop across the street from ours with the Cambridge Market, I mean, it was dangerous crossing the street out there on Saturday, especially the elderly and the young. Some of those people just didn't want to stop. After a while, I just went out there and I, kind of hold up my hands and stop. I mean, it held up traffic, and people are busy on Highway 12 wanting to get to Madison and wherever they're going. But if we can think about getting a push-button light or some flashing lights at a couple of the intersections, I know it's money again, but we need to look at that before it's too late and somebody gets hurt, because I'm hoping this is just the harbinger of more and better things to come. It was tremendous. I know everybody that attended just loved it. We were just talking, and I talked to a lot of people in the atrium that came in to cool off on Saturday, and they were from all over. A couple from Cambridge or from Chippewa Falls, and their kids came down specifically because they saw the Fire Fest was here, and they drove down and spent the weekend. I'd never heard of Cambridge before, they said. So whatever we can do to help the Arts Council and promote some of these tours, I would certainly ask for all of your help throughout Cambridge. Volunteer, either with your pocketbook or with your legs, so, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other public appearances? All right, just observers. All right, moving on. Approval of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All right. Discussion, any questions about the consent agenda, board minutes and operators licenses?
Did we get a comment on the last one? Did the police say?
The police did sign off. That came in late last
Okay.
week, so I got it back from them yesterday.
Okay, I just
So they
wanted
have signed
to
off.
clarify that because
Yeah.
I didn't see the checkbox, so.
Yep, I wanted to get it in the packet, but,
Yep, excellent, thank you.
yep.
Okay, all right. We have a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye as we vote on this.
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, hearing none, the consent agenda is passed. Moving on, President's report. Several things here. July 10th, had a meeting with the Cambridge Area Fire and EMS Commission, and it's something that I sit on. There were really two significant items that came out of that. It was just the normal runs, it seemed like, and the financial results. The two things that are noteworthy, one is the new unit that has been purchased will be here earlier. It's going to be here late September, early October. That's the new pumping unit. And then the other item that was of, I guess it should be mentioned, is the Pizza Hut building. That building has been purchased by, or the Pizza Pit building. It's been purchased. An operator is contending that he has first right of refusal, and it's really not the commission's responsibility. It would be between the seller and this party, and we're hoping that that will get resolved in the next, I thought it'd be probably within a month, so from what I understand. And then the last item is we are going to be needing blueprints if we have these. Lisa, I had talked to you about that.
Yeah, I have not been able to find them, but,
For the architect,
Yeah.
for the location, the current location of the fire and EMS building. We may have had those blueprints here at one time. They can't seem to find them. Bob, is there anything else that was covered in the meeting that?
So we asked, so the newspaper editor, Karen, sent us, I don't know if she sent it to all of us, but she had retrieved all the articles from 1980s when it was, and all the names are there of the architect, the builder. There's a whole bunch of potential contacts to find those blueprints.
Oh.
So I don't know if somebody might be working on it, and
okay.
But that I got all those articles somewhere.
And also, there should have been a set of blueprints turned over to the fire and EMS at the time, the
Yeah.
building was completed, along with the village.
Couldn't find them.
Really?
Haven't been able to find them. And that's been,
It's
so
too bad.
if the land gets purchased or not, the building needs to be analyzed for how to reconstruct it. And the building, if we don't find the plans, we have to hire somebody to recreate them.
Right.
Yeah, it was all done back in, what, 84, 85, something like that. Okay, all right. So that was the meeting there. On July 12th, had a meeting with the winery distillery, the distillery. And we went through some various issues, and Mike, if you have anything you want to add here, the gray water, they're going to try to reuse that. Fire hydrants, water testing, and there's just something to watch. I guess we wouldn't have to go much further than that. Maybe you have something more to add.
I
You
have
had
something I'll be adding in my
results. Okay,
notes, too.
all right. And then a deduction, the deduct meter for the sewer charge was 6,000 gallons a day. They ship the water out, their old water.
And I'll explain that a little more. We've been working on that.
Okay, all right. Okay, and so that we have that. As Bob alluded, next item was a senior meal program. And It's the outreach services, and I was invited by Maureen Lean, who is the Christiana chair. And so met with her and the coordinator. The big thing here is that we are kind of upside down. We're about $21,000 over what we're putting in terms of what they provide to Cambridge residents. So it will be a concern with the next year's budget. They don't expect us to get there all at once, but they would like to see that, maybe we could pay a little bit more in, and we can learn more about that as we go on. Firefest, Bob, Dave, you mentioned that. We had I think a rousing turnout. Paula, and I wanted to ask you, and as well as Kathy, because you were both involved with helping set that up. Any observations that you can share with us?
So my husband and I volunteer on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday for cleanup. So we were quite involved in the Firefest, and it was great. One anecdotal item is when we came down on Saturday, because we walk back and forth to our house multiple times during the day, and when we came down on Saturday, the parking on Main Street had reached the BP. And previous years, it hadn't gotten that far. So we're like, oh my gosh, we know there's more people there this year than last year because parking reached the BP. So we're looking forward to the time when the parking reaches our house, right down on Main Street. So it was great for the amount of people who come through. There was very little issues. I mean, it's a really good crowd that comes through. And so I think that's just a really big positive for the community.
Okay.
I saw a lot of different plates too on those
Yes.
cars parked there. New Jersey, Minnesota, Michigan, just to name a few
Yeah.
for our state.
Kathy, you
No,
were?
I was not involved in it.
Okay, all right. Okay, was anybody else?
Well, Kathy went to it.
I went to it.
All right.
but I
Well,
wasn't involved in it.
I went to it as well. Had the dinner, and people there were from Oshkosh, which I was trying to work on him with the fire engine. But he sells the units internationally, so I wanted to see if we can't do a little better on our pricing for that fire engine. I wasn't going to lose that opportunity. And then I met somebody else from Rockford, and we started talking about Cheap Trick. But everybody loved it. Food was good. It was really hot, but it was an enjoyable evening.
And the sculpture's just fantastic.
It is really cool.
Fantastic.
How does the board feel if can I write a letter to the paper, just complimenting the Cambridge
Yep.
Arts Council?
I
will
think
do
that would be great.
Yep.
All right, I'll get that in.
As far as the weekend, the one thing that I observed, and which I did not like to begin with because I live on the other side of Main Street, I hate the no turning right off. You said they put those lines in there on PQ, so you don't have a right turn lane. Hate it. Because then you have to wait forever for all of the traffic if
Especially
you're
if somebody's
turning.
going to make a left-hand turn.
Yes, if somebody's making a left, you're either going to go left or you're going to go right.
Yeah, yeah.
And without that right-hand turn, you're waiting forever just on a normal day.
Okay.
So
That was designed as parking lanes.
I understand that, but it's frustrating
Yeah.
because we do get 9,000 cars a day through here.
Yeah. Well, we had the traffic over the weekend, so that was the one thing I think, and they're going to, I talked with Steve Struss. Lori, she was bushed, and I complimented Lori and left a message with Steve, and I tried to do the same with Mark Skudlaric. And Lori was just completely tuckered out. I mean, she was,
Yeah.
But
But having the street closed was huge.
Yeah.
That made such a difference. Because last year it was closed because of road construction. And this year we actually closed it from PQ on. That just makes such a big difference for traffic, for people walking across the street and not having to worry so much. In the morning, there were still some people, cars driving through. As we were trying to set up between the two stations, I mean, there are some cars that just fly through there.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to have that road closed. So I would absolutely encourage
That's
that.
Pleasant Street, right?
That moving forward, that the
Both Pleasant
board
and
continues to do that.
Both Pleasant and Water.
Yep.
Closed.
I think the last part here is we should, police and anybody else that has observations, we need to get those memorialized in writing so that next year when they're doing the planning for this, they have something to work off of. So if we can,
Yeah, Jeff and I have already discussed that.
yeah, okay. All right, and the last item that I have is, and we're going to be talking about it, we have a meeting tomorrow evening at the town of Oakland, and it's to go over Blue Jay Way. This is a meeting that would have been scheduled here, but the library is going to be using this room for their book sale. So we're going out there. It's our meeting, but we're there, and we'll be talking about that project. So that's the president's report.
Who's bringing refreshments? Are we making a plan for that? Because,
I was going to make a cake tonight.
perfect, thank you.
For Vicky's birthday tomorrow, and then what's left we'll bring tomorrow night.
Okay.
Well, it depends upon how nice they are. But seriously.
Refreshments will be expected, so we
Yes.
just need to make sure.
All
we-
right.
Yes.
Can you take care of that, Lisa?
Yeah.
Can you get a plate and bring that out there? All right. All right.
I can give you some money for donation.
Okay. All right, moving on. Library Board, you had a meeting on July 10th?
I was not at that meeting. Patty, do you have anything to report?
Canceled.
Oh, it was canceled. Okay.
Okay.
Due to no quorum. Great, thank you.
All right, okay. Water and Sewer Committee, July 15th.
Well, the biggest thing was, I think it's Blue Jay Way? And.
Bluebird Pass.
Oh, Bluebird Pass, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And we told the second homeowner that they're going to have to work it out between neighbors and get it repaired themselves. The village cannot be involved in that. And she had some things, the owner that has the pipe running out, there should have been French drains installed underneath that big pipe coming out, which was never done. So I think they need to work out between each other and they'll come up with a solution.
Is that long-standing water?
Yes.
Yes, it
And
is.
that was
Okay.
after receiving a memo from Mary Baling. She reviewed
Okay.
it and gave her recommendations to the committee.
Okay.
But that was the biggest thing, I believe. I don't remember, can't remember anything else that was really outstanding.
The main thing.
We're just waiting for the loan funds to come through so we can start taking care of the wells.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Okay. Village office updates. Lisa?
Hey, so it has been busy, so these are things we're working on in addition to our day-to-day stuff. I had also met with McFarland Senior Outreach. They had contacted us and came in. Like Bob said, they are looking at contracts. We've been receiving our senior programming through them since before I started here. And there's never been a formal contract. It's kind of been just verbal agreements that, yep, we'll provide, we give donations. They are looking to get numbers together. I asked for 5-year averages on what has been spent and donated so that we have more of a historical perspective instead of over 1 year. So as we move into budgeting, we'll have more information on that. The Melster site, the draft agreement has been sent to At Home Again for review, hoping to have that back for our next village board meeting. Like Mark said, we did meet out at Dancing Goat. One big thing we're working with, as he said, they get the water in to process all their spirits and so forth. A lot of it goes into tanks then because it's waste that we don't want coming into the system. So they are hauling off site. Once the expansion's done, it's looking to go up 6-fold. So I'm working with Town and Country to come up with an agreement similar to what we used to have with the Melster site, that they would be receiving credit on the sewer portion for the gallons that are shipped off-site that aren't going down the system. So Working with Town and Country, we're hoping to have that at the August water and sewer meeting. And just a lot of communication as we're doing things, as they're doing things, to keep that line of communication open, so we're all on the same page. The phone system for this building is on the agenda. The audit, the PSC report has been filed. Final field work for the audit has been completed. The draft reports are currently being reviewed by Paul Franz, our auditor, and then will be reviewed by one more of the final partners. He did throw some dates out to me today. He was wondering if he could come into the Audit and Finance Committee on Tuesday, September 3rd at 9 or 10 a.m., which is the day after Labor Day, so I don't know how that works for people.
I will be out of town, but
Okay.
if the rest of the committee wants to meet, they're certainly welcome to.
And I know
If
he's
there's a
gone
quorum.
the end of August, that's why he had picked that date, but I can see if there's different date. But then he would come before the board on September 10th to give the full report to the board. Usually what we do is the Audit and Finance gets a little more in-depth, line by line, more of a summary report to the board. So I can check what dates for him. The remodel, the punch list has been completed. It's expected that the work on that list will be finished up within the next week or so. We have ordered furniture. We are looking at moving in between August 14th and 16th to actually get the phones and computers and everything up and running in there, get the things we need day to day in, and then work on the files and so forth as time permits. Welcome signs. At the last meeting, the chamber had reported that Bill Ringat had said the welcome to Cambridge sign could go on his property.
On whose
That's
property?
actually on their property, on Bill's, the Vineyard Development. But the property he was referring to is actually owned by the village, not by the vineyards. So I have been working with the chamber. They are getting all the paperwork they need from the state for a welcome sign. They will then come to the village to ask for permission to place it. And it has to be submitted on behalf of them by the village, so they will be coming to us to work on that.
I have a question on that.
Mhm.
Is there any other signs on that strip that are,
There is, and we have talked to Bill, especially
has
Great
Mike
of
been
Home
involved?
sign that's been up, a lot of those signs were supposed to be temporary signs.
Okay.
I am getting questions, concerns from other business owners in town saying, well, can we put billboards up on the village land? So Mike has asked Bill to take down signs, especially those that were supposed to be temporary signs that are on village property. Our ordinances do allow, if people want signs on village property, they can ask permission. So we are working with Bill on that as well. We are working with Ellers on the upcoming bond sales, all the paperwork they need for that. Quarterly reports have been filed with government, federal, state government. Barb spent a day up at the UW Green Bay Clerk and Treasurer Institute, invited to lead a class up there, so she spent a day up there teaching. Also working, and this has kind of been an ongoing, creating our spreadsheets and organizing invoicing and special assessments, because over the last few years we haven't had consistent tracking mechanisms, so we're working on that. Census was in for a day, out looking at meters in the community where we've been having some problems, water meters, and then worked with Vicki in the office, training her on the new equipment and cleaning up the computer database with the new systems and so forth. The Recycling and trash RFP should be ready for our next board meeting. Advanced Disposal has received a letter that we will be going out for bid, so they're aware of it. Oakland is on the agenda. I'll have some to add to that. Also working with Town and Country, as Ted said, on the upcoming rehabs of the wells. They will be requesting the DNR permits needed and then start scheduling. So that's it in a nutshell.
All right, okay. Some nutshell. Moving on, bills. We have first run, second run. The bills total $74,718.82.
Make a motion to pay the bills and set them out.
Second.
Okay. Discussion, questions regarding any of the bills?
The one thing I just wanted to point out is the $7,402.36, the fire department's is a pass-through. It's not actually a cost to the village. It's a
Yep.
fire dues reimbursement, so
Yeah.
we're not actually losing any money there.
Okay.
So
All right.
technically, it's $7,000 less than what it shows, but.
Okay. Any other observations, questions, concerns? Hearing none, can we have a roll call on this one, please, Lisa?
Trustee Cunningham.
Yes.
Whitmer.
Yes.
Breinig.
Yes.
Hollenbeck.
Yes.
Kumbir.
Yes.
Christensen.
Yes.
McNally.
Yes. Moving on. Unfinished business, I don't see anything, so we're going to go right into new business. We have a street permit for the Keystone Grill for August 4th, 2019. Lisa, what can you tell us?
We have done this for them in the past, both for the Rib Fest and for when he's had his car shows, just closing off Mill Street between North and Main.
I'll make a motion to approve the Keystone Grill Mill Street street permit for August 4th of 2019.
Second.
Okay, discussion? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second for approval of the Keystone Grill's application for a street permit on August 4th, 2019. All those in favor of this motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Motion is carried. Now, Keystone Grill also wants to extend their liquor license premise for that same day.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right.
That is liquor.
Any discussion? Okay, motion and a second has been made for the extension of the liquor license premise for August 4th, 2019 pertaining to Keystone Grill. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Park reservation for Westside Park Jacobson Family Reunion, August 10th.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any concerns? All right, all those in favor of granting this motion for Westside Park for the Jacobson Family Reunion, August 10th, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Upgrade of the Village Hall phone system. Lisa, what can you tell us about this?
I do have a memo in your packet. I had mentioned at the last meeting when I contacted our phone company about moving our phones over that they had been in contact with the village administrator last year, saying that they were no longer going to be servicing the system we had. It was outdated. The village had never responded. So as I called and said, can you move our phones? They're like, oh, wait, you know. So they did provide us a couple different options. They do still have some parts for the phones. The contract to service the phones is $1,250 a year. Since we had this phone system in 2005, I think we have had them out here a total of 11 times, maybe. You know, we haven't had problems with it, but it is an older phone system. So do we want to pay to
Maintain an old,
maintain an old,
and
more
move it
than
and
maintain
everything
an
else.
old system? They did give us a cost for a new system, which I found ironic. It's less than what we paid for the last system back in 2005, of $5,848.70.
So Avaya is what I've used at both my last organizations and what I currently use, and I actually manage the team who manages the Avaya systems for Thrivent. A good phone system. My concern is in looking through the quote, I'm not sure it includes everything. I don't see training, and I don't see programming of the phones included in that quote.
Okay.
And both of those are going to be critical
Yes.
for you guys to understand what we're going to need to do.
Well, absolutely.
The only thing I saw in there was that they'd have a technician on for 1 hour. Everything else is billable. That was the fine print down
Okay.
below. So I would look at those two things. Where do we have training, and what would be the cost for them to actually do the programming? The other thing is, did they actually come out to our site and verify that our network is going to be able to support those phones?
No, he was on vacation.
Okay.
He did just get back. So we've been in contact. I was going to give him a call tomorrow.
And I'm assuming we'd
and-
extend these phones to the public works space, the public works and the water sewer space?
We hadn't at this point. Right
Okay.
now, they're on a separate system.
So the eight phones are just for the office upstairs?
It does also cover cable, the courts,
Okay.
the police.
Got it.
There's a couple phones down
Okay.
here.
So that's one of the things I'd
that
want
are
to
all
look
in.
into is it extendable to those other two locations? Maybe not for phase one,
Yeah,
but maybe
but
phase
in the
two.
distance.
Yeah, we
or
could
in
see
the
if-
future.
Yep, see if we could do that.
Yeah.
But I would want them to take a look internally to make sure we've got the wiring
Yeah.
in place that's necessary for those phones. And if not, then we need to understand what the costs are going to be to put those phones in.
Yeah.
I absolutely think we should update the phone system. I just want to make sure we're aware of what all those costs are going to be.
Yeah, it's good
Yeah.
to see all the costs.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, Chris?
What does the library have? Did they get an upgraded system?
They have it, yes, they have been upgraded.
Is it?
They
They've got
did,
the
but I don't
same-
think it's Avaya.
No?
I don't even think
It
it's.
is upgraded because they used to be on our system.
Yeah, but
Everyone else-
I don't know if they got Cisco
I
or,
don't know for sure.
I don't even think they got Cisco. I think they got an off-brand.
And I have to be honest, because of the timing of this, this is the company that put in our system we have now. I did
Yep.
not go out for bids or quotes, figuring they're familiar with what we have. If we did up to keep the system,
I mean,
they'd be able to move it.
I thought
but-
the price they gave us for the hardware and everything, and the installation of all the hardware was absolutely reasonable. I would just be looking at
Make sure
the
that-
training and the programming.
What are we going to do with the old system? Is it worth anything? Can you get anything for that if you sell that?
Probably not.
It's 15 years old, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all we'd be selling is the phones. Not-
Okay. Yeah. Slightly better than 2 cans on a string. All right. Okay. Is there anything further that we need to do on this, Lisa?
Well, Lisa, you need to go ahead on this, or
We need to get a
how are we going to do this, Paul?
Well, we don't know
Do you
all the
think-
numbers.
We do, and that's why I put it on this agenda. If we're looking at moving in the next,
I agree.
we're going to have to give them an answer. I can get some clarifications, see what, he will come out here.
Yep.
But what training and programming, I know, and of course, I don't have the agreement from then. When they came out to install the last time, they did program
Right.
all the phones, but.
It just wasn't spelled out.
Real
And it did
clearly.
make a statement to there that it needs, an SOW needs to accompany it, the quote that they gave you. And we don't have the SOW in our hands, so that's why I would want to take a look at that. But I think the board is in agreement that we need to move forward with the new phone system. So, I think,
Can we put it in
Make a
something
motion
where,
for that?
make a
Not to
motion
exceed right
not to
now, and if
exceed
we have
7?
to-
What's a fair,
I would say not to exceed 10.
not to exceed 10?
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, let's start there. It
Okay.
may go more like 12. I don't know how much they charge for programming.
Well-
And it depends on if we have to rewire, that would probably include some of the rewiring if we have to do some
And I
wiring.
was hoping they would know that because they've used it. They were out here within the last year to know what we have.
Yeah, but
But it's-
the types of plugins you have now for the phones is going to be different than what we need for the new phones. So what is it going to cost to run the cable?
If
The data
that's necessary.
circuit, so.
I'd like to make a motion to upgrade the village hall phone systems not to exceed $10,000.
I'll second.
It's money.
Yeah, yeah. 10 is a good number?
Well, I think 10 is a good starting number.
And if it's
There might be a
more,
couple
we'll-
of things that we might have to come back for, but that would at least get it on order, and it would get them lined up to be able to install it in our timeframe.
Okay, all right. Any other further discussion? Okay, we have a motion to second. It's money, so let's go with our protocol.
Trustee Whitworth,
Yes.
Breinig,
Yes.
Hollenbeck,
Yes.
Kumbir,
Yes.
Christensen,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
McNeil.
Yes. All right, so we've spent that. Okay, moving on, our last item here of the evening, intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Cambridge and the Town of Oakland, and our upcoming meeting for tomorrow night.
So we did revise the agenda and add this, as I sent you yesterday. I had just received a copy of a letter to the editor that they were going to be sending. So I wanted you all aware of it. They did share it with us yesterday. Also, today, I was able to finally talk to Connie Anderson, who had drafted the agreement late this afternoon. I was able to talk to her. She gave me a lot of the background on it, kind of clarifying a lot of the points that where we felt, that maintenance is maintenance. If she would have meant reconstruction, she would have put reconstruction in. But the basis that it was created at the same time we were looking at building the COWC, so the whole plan was kind of multifaceted, cleaning up the boundaries, but getting ready for the COWC, the joint venture, and the joint planning, which is part of it. That yes, it does say we will treat the roads as village roads, but that we wouldn't annex. And there is a line on the first page saying they will remain town roads until adjoining properties are annexed. That it stayed in maintenance. There was no assumption of rebuilding or anything else, reconstructing. There were a lot of assumptions going on in the community at the time, which we've talked about at meetings, which have not been met, of the annexation of further building and so forth. It did renew in 2016. It will go through 2026, at which time it would end unless it were renewed. It won't automatically renew in 2026.
It won't?
No, it was the one.
It was only a one-time
yeah.
automatic renew?
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause
One time.
that kind of bit us.
She did say if we would like her to, she would attend the meeting tomorrow
Yes,
night.
we would like her.
Oh, that would be great.
That'd be
Yeah.
great.
I think
Yes.
that's a great
So I
thing to
told
do.
her I would be in contact
Yes,
with her
please.
tomorrow, and
Hate to screw up your retirement, but yes, please.
yeah. She's currently
deal.
working on one municipal
Oh, okay.
project. That was something she has worked on for years, so she's like, I know all the players, I'm in retirement, but working on that one project, but she did say she would come
That would be
That'll
great.
helpful.
to have some perspective on.
The original
Big
drafters.
deal.
Yeah,
And
because
the
there's
intent.
not many people involved still that were there at that time. So,
And the two that were on our side,
um,
Steve and Don.
Yep, Stephen Dunn. Yep.
I've approached both Steve and Don. Steve has another commitment, and Don may very well be there. And then I also asked Bernie Nicolay, I left word with him that we're having the meeting tomorrow night, so if his wife can pass the message on.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right? Anything?
It's at 7 tomorrow.
7.
correct?
Well, I like the idea of Connie being there, and
I do too.
it's going to be very helpful.
Yep, I think so too. Good.
I've been told that the town has a proposal for us. I just don't know what it is. So we'll see. That's all I have.
I
The
was
only
gonna say,
proposal we're
One-
going to accept is
Say,
it's
we-
yours.
yeah,
One thing that Connie did stress too is, it says we will treat the roads as village roads, which we have done the maintenance, we have plowed, we have filled potholes. If, you know, if we have a lot of bad roads that need to be replaced, that we've
Right.
had to, you know, that, you know, but that there is no assumption that reconstruction is.
And if they would have been constructed right in the first place, we wouldn't be talking about it right now.
roads wear down.
Yeah.
All right,
It
Chris?
happens.
I have a question for Karen. Hey, Karen, when did this letter to the editor post? Is it in today's paper or
It's in the paper, that's coming up
on Thursday?
Yep.
Is it online already?
It might be,
Okay, all right, I was just curious.
I'm not sure when it's
So we already in a previous meeting discussed what our position is going to be,
Yep.
position 1 and then position 2. I think if something comes up at that meeting
Shouldn't be too hasty.
right, we shouldn't be too hasty, or we can ask to have a conversation with just our group so we can speak freely among ourselves if there's something else that needs to be discussed.
Except that's not posted.
Well, I know it's not closed session. It's still part of that meeting. I just would want, because we're spread all over the room, I would want us to be able to sit closer together and have a discussion without Oakland interjecting so that we can discuss. I mean, I'm not asking anyone to leave the room. I would just ask for us to have a conversation.
To the extent that we're going to make a decision,
If we're
yes.
going to make some kind of a decision
Yeah.
at that, something other than what we've already discussed.
Well,
But we don't have to make another
positions.
decision.
No, it should come
Okay.
back, actually, it should come back to the board and be just a final discussion.
Okay.
If there's something that we need to discuss.
Right.
Okay, good. As long as we have that strategy. So we've got position 1 and we've got position 2, and if those aren't to go, then
It comes
we
back here.
come back to the village and talk some more. Perfect.
Position 1, just so that I'm clear, position 1 is that it's your
their
road.
road.
All right? And you guys take care of it, and, you know, you've got, there's drainage issues, and you may have to incur some expense, but it's your road.
Correct.
That's what we're saying.
Yep, that's our position.
But if we take it further, though, in saying that we would continue with the spirit of what the agreement that's in place, right?
What Connie did say, especially with the plowing and so forth, we were doing that before this agreement.
Right.
We were.
You
So
know,
we'd still
it
do the
was-
plowing.
Yeah, we'll still do the maintenance.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah, the
honor,
maintenance.
we'll honor the, yeah, we'll,
We'll
yep.
honor it.
The agreement's still going to be in place. We're not looking at voiding that. We're looking at having it interpreted as it was originally intended,
Especially on the maintenance, especially on the
on the
repair of-
refurbishing. Yep,
Reconstruction.
reconstruction of the
reconstruction.
road.
Okay, that's a good word.
I do have copies of the agreement, hard copies, if anybody needs for tomorrow, or the letter.
I'll take a copy of that for tomorrow, because then I can highlight it at home.
In your spare time.
All right, so we'll have a discussion with
All right.
these folks, and I will reiterate that it's their road. They need to accept that. I know we're gonna get into the whole maintenance issue and road aid, and, you know, just leave that alone. We're going with what we've been doing.
You need to concentrate on just the road,
Well,
maintenance and stuff like that, as is.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, all right. And we will be there. Is everybody planning on being there tomorrow night?
I'm not going to be there, Mark.
You won't? Okay.
As far as I know.
You'll be there? Okay, all right. Not that we're voting, but it's just good.
Good.
Gary, you're going to be there, aren't you? All right. Karen, you'll probably be there. All right. I had a feeling you would. Okay. Any other
Missed
further
something like
discussion
that.
on this at this time? And Connie has been given an invitation to be there as well.
Clarification on the second
Yes?
proposal? You clarified the first. What's our second?
Well, I want to hear what they have to say.
Okay.
I mean, I think that we can bring the meeting to order, and we can let them know how we feel, and we're open now to hear what they have to say about this, because we're standing fast with the agreement that we
Good.
have.
And at the last meeting, it was asked that I try to reach out to Connie, so to give Connie the opportunity to give background
We did. We were.
early
That
on
is so
in the meeting
valuable.
would be.
It is, that's really valuable.
This is our meeting, it's being held there, and I'm hoping that, and I know we can talk with the town, and
Be cordial.
yes, they're sharp, but I don't think we're on the dimwit side of the table here, so we should be able to hold our own and have a nice, pleasant discussion.
Speak for yourself.
Well, I just want it to be cordial.
Sometimes you need to cut it off.
Yeah. All right,
All
okay.
right, who's gonna sit next to Mark and kick him when he's talking too much?
Who's going to wear that? I have a dimwit t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. Who's gonna save Mark from himself?
Okay.
I'll take that round.
Chris, that's your job.
All right,
Man.
okay. All right, moving on, correspondence? Anything that we have? Okay, nothing there. Meeting announcements, as you can see, we've got Board of Review. That's tomorrow at noon.
Noon until 2. At this point, there was one person who had filed an objection. He has since talked to the auditor, or assessor, and it has been taken care of, so at this point, we have no one scheduled to come before us,
But we are
state
required to be
statute,
here.
we're there from 12 till 2.
Who's all going to be here? I know I
You,
will.
Sue, and Kathy, and
Okay.
myself. I'm
All right.
by statute
Okay.
on the committee as well.
So we get to bring along our homework or stuff that we want to do.
You guys can, bring your
Highlight.
your highlighters and you can have this agreement.
Yeah, yeah. No, so I don't want to be a dimwit. Okay.
The
We-
word of the night.
Yeah, we have the joint meeting with Oakland tomorrow night at their offices and in Oakland. Plan Commission is going to be meeting on August 12th. I always get these mixed up here.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah, and the Village Board is on August 13th. Library Board is on August 14th. And the Water and Sewer, you guys are going to reconvene on August 20th, and we will have another meeting here on August 27th. Okay. All right.
Servant.
Any questions, referrals to staff for future agenda items? All right. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make a